If I wrote a note to God, I would speak what's in my soul.
Hey guys, it's your girl Alexis Jade, and this is going to be my first intuitive message that I have been promising you guys I'd start bringing along on my channel. I really hope you guys like it. Thank you for watching. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Alexis Jade, and I'm back with my first video of 2020. How has 2020 been treating you guys as of lately? For me, right? Could be better, but it could be a whole lot worse because I'm definitely praying that, you know, a 2019 repeat doesn't happen because that's just out. Like, I don't have time. Some life coaching, although I don't really call myself that. I just call myself an empathic messenger, if you will. If I get a message that God sends to me, I have learned to be obedient and just put it out there, right? Pause. I make some really bitter Merlot with some cranberry pineapple juice. Total success. Like, I'm gonna have to do this again. Personalized wine glass. I don't know if you can see it, but it has my name on it. So cute. Champagne glass. Not bad. Update would be 2019. I left the year right where it was. And what do I mean by that? Basically, whatever business wasn't finished in 2019 or whatever areas in my life that had a lot of uncertainty, whatever I felt like just no longer served me, I left it right there. And when I say that, it includes good and bad things, right? So basically, if I had a conflict with a person, I left that person in 2019, but I also left like ill feelings towards them in 2019, right? It brought me any type of uncertainty or any type of like grief or emotional damage or just like confusion, right? God said he is not the author of confusion, okay? So I feel like if it makes you confused, you should probably get rid of it. It's probably not for you, right? So I know everybody was talking about, yeah, I'm leaving y'all in 2019. I'm leaving y'all. I'm leaving this. I'm leaving toxic energy. Oh no, baby, it wasn't all talk. I really did that. And huge pat on my back because I am 100% more confident in myself as a person now that I've done that. And what do I mean? Confident like on the outside because I didn't really lack that. I'm confident on the inside. And what I mean by confident on the inside, I'm confident in knowing, one, that I'm a good person. I'm a good person that not just in 2019 but throughout the years I have really tried to leave a positive mark on everyone's life that I've been a part of, right? In knowing that I'm a good person, I learned in 2019 that it's very important to discontinue going above and beyond to get people to understand me as a person, or to get people to see me the way that I see me. Get people to see me in the light that, you know, my family and my close friends see me, my tribe, if you will. They see me in a certain light, and it's because that they chose to take the time to get to know me and to see me in that light, right? This goes with dating in particular. So in dating previously, I had a really bad pattern of diligently trying to convince, almost like I'm selling something, right? Trying to sell myself to that person as like a good person, a good potential spouse, a good girlfriend, a good mate, a good person that can be reliable, that can be, you know, I don't know, emotionally available. All these things, that person, it's their job to figure that out. It's not my job to like basically try to rip your eyes open so that you can see me for who and what I really am. If you don't see it, you don't see it. In one of my books, I can't remember if it's the one that just got published or it's the one that I'm currently working on, I wrote something along the lines of, no matter how colorful your spirit is, some people will never see you that way because their soul has poor vision, right? Or their soul is colorblind, if you will. And it goes with the idea and the concept of understanding that you can be the perfect person. You can be the ideal candidate. But if that person is not committed to finding the right person, finding that ideal person, it's just wasted effort, right? It's dead energy. Because I actually learned this from that person. He will often manipulate certain situations and turn them around and call me insecure and all this. And I'm like, where are you getting that from? Like, the whole point of me doing all this is like to show you that I am the shit. Like, I'm popping. And I don't mean just my looks. I mean like the fact that I'm intelligent, I'm spiritually in tune, like I'm emotionally available, I'm not toxic, I don't want anything from you. Like, what is there to be insecure about? Like, what? Huh? You know, like I was really like insecure. Boy, cut it. But you know what? The thing that I like about myself is I could be real with myself. I had to like actually dissect what he was saying. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he actually explained, and he was like, I'm gonna do his voice. Oh no, Alexis, like me personally, I don't have to convince myself that I'm a good nigga. I know I'm a good nigga. Like, it's up to you to see that. And if you don't, then that's just that. And I was just like, you know what? You kind of right. You're right. And I think where he messed up is he gave me some really solid advice, but it was meant to be used against him. See how that works? So the good thing about me is I believe in checks and balances. I don't think that I'm too intuitive. I don't think I'm too spiritual. I don't think I'm too intelligent to learn from anybody. People like that, they are in a low conscious state of themselves, right? They haven't reached their higher self. Your higher self is when, you know, your spiritual man, and when I say man, I don't really mean man, I mean like mankind, okay? When your spirit man is stronger than your fleshly man, right? When the person on the inside, when you're conscious, when that voice is stronger than the voice that we use with our physical body, right? When you're actually able to step back in situations and think beforehand and say, is that right? Is that what a good person would be? Am I on my path towards being the best version of myself? People who are spiritually in tune and trying to engage with their higher self, that's how they think, with intention, because it requires you to take a step back before you maneuver in life and to say, okay, hold on now. That's low vibes. And I'm supposed to be on high vibes. I'm supposed to be working towards being my best version of myself. So that's probably not something I should do. You know, that's not something I should engage in. That's not something that I can say, you know? So this person didn't operate like that. And because he didn't, and because I did, there was a huge wedge that was driven between us, right? He wore the mask well, and he dressed it up, and he made it look like it was that, you know, the thing that I was looking for. And I don't mean physically, I mean like in here. He made it look really good. But the thing about people who pretend is they can't do it for a long time. It's impossible. You eventually fall out of character. The mask eventually comes off. And a lot of times it takes a very intuitive or empathic person to rip that mask off. Because a person like me, my spirit is very challenging. If I feel like something isn't right, I'm going to speak up on it. If I feel like something isn't right with that person, I'm never afraid to tell them and to call it out. And based on that person's reaction, it tells me a whole lot. And we had that conversation, and he said it, and I was like, wow, they ain't working for me. And I don't even have to speak on why it doesn't work for me. Just know that I know. You know? And I left it at that. Confirmation. You know? So that was the end of that. When I tell you, since I removed that person, a heaviness has been lifted off of me, and I can't even make this up. Like, trip with some friends of mine, and that entire trip, I was just like, this is what's right. This is how I'm supposed to feel. Like, emotionally and mentally free. No one can manipulate me and make me feel like my emotions are not valid, or that I am hyper emotional and not a rational thinker, because I definitely am. No one can sit here and play the blame game with me when they're literally purposely and intentionally trying to drive me crazy. I don't have those problems. And it was like, what am I taking out of this situation? What was the big lesson? I was like, what am I supposed to learn? And it was obedience. That kind of maneuvers me into my next segment, which would be utilizing your discernment, your power of discernment, your intuition, to become submissive and obedient to the will of God. So I know a lot of people, they say the universe and spirit, because they want to be politically correct. I don't believe in being politically correct. So I say God on my channel. If you don't like that, you don't have to watch. But when God sees that we have a blockage in our journey, and he can see the impact that it would have on our final destination, right? Meaning, how long will it take for us to bounce back if we run into that boundary? Do we have the tools? Are we equipped to move around that boundary, or to cut through it, to drive through it? So if you can imagine, let's say you're doing a race, right? You're doing a race. You're a track runner. And randomly on the track appears a huge, deep forest, right? And the forest is packed with all these trees. Now, you didn't see it because you're just focused on what's right there in front of you. But the crowd, the audience, the bystanders, right? The people who are cheering you on, the people who want to see you succeed, they can see everything, right? They can see this forest while you're running on the track. They can see that forest building up, it's growing up. All these trees are just getting bigger and bigger and stronger. The forest is getting thicker. They can see it. Wouldn't you be upset if they didn't try to like warn you? If they knew you didn't have a saw to cut the trees down? They knew you didn't have any experience using an axe? They saw how deep the forest went back. So they're like, oh, that's going to take a few hours to get through. That's going to slow her down. You know, what if the people cheering you on, no one's like yelling, hey, watch out for that. Hey, oop, wait a minute. Maneuver, go left, a little bit. Okay, there you go. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what God does for us. He's cheering us on, and he wants us to win. He wants us to succeed. And he is a bystander. He can see it all. He sees the entire thing. And it's up to us to listen, right? Yes, focus on your path. Focus on what's in front of you. Focus on the task. Focus on winning. Focus on the finish line, right? But also, don't be so focused that you can't hear what the bystanders are telling you, right? Don't be so focused on winning that you're not paying attention to those signs that are being dropped in front of you. about possible blockages that can, you know, slow down your progression or slow down your journey, or unfortunately completely deter you from winning at all. When I say listening, that has to do with being intuitive and exercising discernment. Same thing as intuition. Discernment is being able to decipher what's what, who's who, and, you know, is this good or is this bad? I know it looks good. I know it's dressed up really nice, but what's underneath it? You know what I mean? Discernment is, just for an example, a person who has studied fashion so long, they can see a really beautiful suit or a beautiful tux, and they would be able to pay attention to details and look at the quality of that fabric to know that this is a poorly made or a cheap suit or tux, right? So discernment is being able to have that keen eye when it comes to life, right? Real life situations. Discernment is being able to know if something was brought to you to cause harm or to give you help, right? Versus discernment, I think, is literally like listening to the voice of God. Like, okay, this is a sign, right? Like, it's strengthened with a prayer life. I think that the more that you are in contact with God, spirit, the universe, whatever, the more in tune you are with the spirit world, the stronger the connection is, which means the stronger your discernment is, right? Example. If you are blind and you had the same set of friends since you were a child, and then you met someone new, whose voice do you think that you would recognize the fastest? Would it be the new person or the people that you grew up with because you talked to them all your life, right? You are constantly around them. You're really close to them. So without your eyesight, whose voice would you recognize? Probably the people that you grew up with, right? The people that you spend the most time with, the people that you talk to the most. I think that it's the same thing with God. So if I'm trying to exercise my discernment, my gift of discernment, I should probably focus on learning the voice of God. Right? How does that happen? Through prayer, right? So by that, I don't mean like literally like somebody's like, hey, nah, don't go down that street. It's a car accident down there. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean like the voice of God speaking to you through your consciousness, right? So if I'm at a party and the vibe is just off, and I just feel like, I don't really like this, I feel uncomfortable, that's my spirit telling me to get up out of there because somebody might be shooting later, you know, stuff like that. That's discernment. Listening to discernment, listening to that voice exercises obedience, right? So obedience gets tricky because us as humans, we like to pick and choose when we want to be obedient, right? So I've seen a million memes on this where it's like, God, please show me a sign. And he shows you like one sign and you're like, I don't know if that's really a sign. God, send me a bigger sign, you know, something a little more obvious. So God sends you like 2 signs. And then it's like, God, you sure? I don't know. Maybe you tripping right now. So go ahead and send me another sign. Then boom, your whole life is up in flames. And it's like, okay, God, I hear you now. Don't let it get to that point. You don't want to get to the point where your life is in flames. For you to be like, oh, you kind of did try to give me like 1,000,001 chances to get myself out of this situation, right? So in my case, obedience has always failed me when it came to cutting people off. It was always like, well, maybe I can still be their friend. I don't have to date them, right? No. Cut them off. Or, well, yeah, we don't have to hang out. We don't have to be friends, but, I mean, she did say she's sorry, so maybe she'll really change. Maybe she won't be as toxic and she won't be drama. Maybe she'll stop stabbing me in the back. No. Stop. And I'm going to tell you why. You never want to get to the point where God forces someone and allows them to hurt you so bad that you cannot go back to them. Now, that's when you know you done messed up. Because he didn't give you about 10, 11, 12, 13 different chances till it got to that point in the first place. You need to listen, right? So, cutting them off and standing in that, right? And when I say cutting people off, that's not out of spite. It's not out of vengeance. It's not like you're doing it to hurt them. And a lot of people get that confused. Because a lot of people think that when you cut them off, you're trying to hurt them. Because they'll hit you with the, I don't care who stays or leaves in my life. You can go. Bye. First, I was going anyway. Two, I don't even care enough to try to hurt you. I don't need that type of bad karma. I don't need that. I'm not trying to hurt you. All I care about right now is my well-being, and it's in the best interest of my well-being to get the heck away from you. It's as simple as that. It's not out of vengeance. It's not done out of spite. It's not done for me personally. It's not done out of anger. A lot of times I go through the anger when I'm still dealing with that person. It's hard to make me angry if I've gotten to the point where I no longer even think that you serve a purpose in my life. You can't even get a reaction out of me at this point. See how that works? I think that it's very important to be obedient and to know that anything that you release, I don't like to say lose, because I ain't never lost nothing, right? Things that have been released or removed, it's always replaced tenfold. You always get something better. That timing is not our timing. So does that mean it's going to happen overnight? No. No. Chances are it won't. Because you still got to do the work and you still got to heal so that you're ready for that harvest season, for those blessings, right? A lot of times it happens on God's terms. You got to be patient in that. And in your patience, you have to remain obedient. Don't backtrack and be like, okay, not mad no more. Come on back. Come on back and be toxic. Because I'm scared to take a leap of faith. I don't have enough faith to remain obedient in my walk. So I'm going to call in these toxic spirits and energies back into my life to ruin me a little bit more. And then pray to God and hope that he cleans up the mess. That's not how it works. Yes. Sorry. We're able to strengthen our discernment, right? In obedience, we're able to build our faith, right? Because it takes guts to do things even if you know it's going to hurt you because it's for your well-being. That takes guts. That takes a tremendous amount of faith. You got to really know that God got your back. That any hardships, that any emotional trauma, any depression that may come upon you is not going to last forever. It's growing pains, right? So you got to have faith and know that this is just a seasonal thing. These emotions are seasonal and it's normal. And you as a person, your job is to tap into those feelings, feel them, and release them. Let it out. Don't stay stuck in lower vibrational energy, which would be depression and sadness and things like that. Don't stay there. It's okay to be there seasonally. It's healthy because everything in life requires balance. If you've never been low, you can't really appreciate the high points, right? You don't see any value in your high points in life if you've never had any lows. So that's what that's for. It teaches us gratitude. So in all that, I'm saying that in relation to what I talked about on my last video of 2019, around Christmas time, I was talking about harvest season, right? And purging and pruning, right? I used a lot of natural earthly examples to make it very clear to people so that it would make sense to them. And this time I wanted to kind of tie it in with what I'm talking about on a more spiritual level, right? You guys know the saying that a rotten apple can ruin the entire tree? It's real, because in real life that happens. If you have a rotten fruit growing on a tree, it will mess up whatever crop that you're trying to grow, right? All the fruits will become damaged. Why? Because they're all connected through the roots and the branches. They're all connected. They all come from the same source, right? It's the same thing with us. if God is going to bless you with something, he's not going to let you mess it up because you got some dead leaves and some weeds and some rotten fruit that you still haven't picked off after he done told you for 3, 4, 5 different times, right? No. He's going to hold off on that. I'm going to hold this little blessing because you still got some stuff to learn. You still haven't learned your lesson from the last time. So don't miss out on your blessings because you got toxic stuff and people and habits in your environment, right? Sometimes those people cannot go on that next level with you because they're not ready. They will detour you from what you're trying to do, from what you're supposed to be doing, from your path, because you're worried about trying to bring them along, trying to pull them up the ladder. You're worried about trying to get them to run faster on your journey. They're slowing you down. And there's nothing wrong with you cutting those people off. Those people were concerned about elevating and ascending like you are. They would be making the same conscious efforts to be elevated and ascending. They would be working on themselves too. They would be purging their toxic energy so that they're not bringing about toxicity to anybody else. And that's just real. So there's no need to feel bad. And it's, again, not done out of malice. We don't cut people off because we're trying to hurt them. We're cutting them off because you served your purpose in my life. I served mine in yours. I learned a lesson from my relationship with you, whether that's platonic or romantic, or if it's a job, because work can be toxic too, or it's a lifestyle, causes radical change in their life. Sometimes it forces them to look in the mirror and say, okay, maybe I am toxic. Maybe I should work on myself. There's a lot of opportunity to better yourself in solitude. And I feel like sometimes that's why God causes separation amongst groups of friends or in relationships, because, you know, together, you guys feed off of each other's toxicity. Alone, it's not so loud and so obnoxious, not too many distractions, and he can sit and work on you. I said all that to say that moving forward in 2020, I want to continue to exercise my gift of discernment, and I want to continue to move forward in obedience when it comes to listening to the voice of God and just trying to be the best person that I can. Not really sure who needs to hear this message, but I hope that whoever took the time to watch this entire video, first of all, thank you. And second, I hope that you're able to apply this message into your life on a daily basis. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.